Hello and welcome back to the Evergreen Funnel Summit. This is the advanced session with Nicholas Kusmich. And what you're going to hear in this session is how he creates an irresistible offer using his GFO framework and sequence. So, Nicholas, thank you so much for sharing this. Why don't we dive in? Take it away.
Yeah. So here's what I've known to be true. You could have the best advertising and the best marketing and the best everything and have a lousy offer and the whole thing's going to flop. Alternatively, if you have terrible marketing and crappy ads and barely stuck together processes, but you have a great offer, you will sell the thing. So the point here is I call it a GFO. What does a GFO mean? It's a Godfather offer. Why do we call it a Godfather offer? Because it's an offer they can't refuse, right? That's the point here. It's how do we come up with something that is so outrageously irresistible that anybody who's qualified and sees this offer would just be out of their mind to say, I'm not going to do it. Right. And so I'll give you the 5 elements that make up a good Godfather offer. And then hopefully you could take that and run with it and to come up with some amazing offers for yourself. And again, as always, Jack, if there's anything you want me to stop or go deeper on or spend some more time on, I'm totally happy to do it. 5 elements that make up an incredible Godfather offer. Element number 1 is a discount. Right. So there is no surprise that the most highly retailed day in the entire world is Black Friday and Cyber Monday. All retail channels make a good percentage of their yearly revenue on one day or one weekend. Why? Because everybody knows there's going to be a discount that day. Like there's something that about discounts we just cannot run away from. Right. It's just like, oh, I can get it at a deal. Awesome. I'll take it. So I want you to think about when you're making a Godfather offer, and keep in mind, this is not the offer that you're making everybody. This is just the offer that you're making to the specific person at that very time who's willing to take an action within a very short window. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But the point here is what kind of a discount can you offer off the normal retail price that would make it appealing enough for somebody to take an action. Now, there's no magic number here. It's not like 90% off or 10% off. Like it is what it is. I generally like a 50% off. It just rolls well. And I'll tell you how I script that into my scripts. But the point is, can you offer a discount for the person who's sitting on the fence? And keep in mind, the GFO, the Godfather offer, is designed for the fast mover who's sitting on the fence. And what I mean by that, it's someone who's ready to take an action right now. They just need a reason why to take an action right now. So quick question.
Is the GFO offer. I just want to connect it to what we just talked about. I want to make sure this is the offer immediately after someone gives us their email and possibly their name.
Exactly. So this is the thank you page. After they've given you their name and their email, or at least their email address, this is the page now, the thank you page that says, hey, thank you so much, right? Now, we can also talk about some of the elements on that page that are important, but let's first talk about the offer itself. Again, this is presented to the person who just opted in. They're a fast mover. They're ready to take an action. They're just kind of sitting on the fence and like, why should I take an action now? So first thing, a discount. The second thing is what I call stacked bonuses. So it's how can you incorporate into the offer bonuses. And ideally, your bonuses should be of equal or higher value than the primary product being offered, for example, right? So if let's say the thing that you're selling is $200 and you're giving them a 50% discount, so it's $100. If you can make your stacked bonuses $200 or even $400 worth of value, there's something just tremendous about that, because they're like, well, I could buy this another time, but if I buy it another time, I don't get all these other things. In fact, some people who teach like bonus theory say you almost want them to buy the thing because of the bonuses even more than the primary product itself. Now, whether that's true or not is besides the point. The point is, can you offer some phenomenal bonuses that are complementary to the primary product? And that's key. You don't want to just be like, oh, and I'll give you a plant and I'll give you this and I'll give you that. Like, it has to be complementary to the primary product, and it can't be inflated value. It has to be something that you actually charge money for and actually has value in the real world, except you're now offering it together with this very special Godfather offer. Now, kind of a side bonus that might be worth mentioning here is if your product is a digital product, right? Sometimes if you can have a physical bonus, there adds a whole new layer of like, wow, I want that desirability. If you have a physical product and you make your bonus digital, that's another whole nother layer that people adhere to. So for example, one of my offers is a membership community called the Council, right? And that's a $249 a month or a $2,500 a year program. Now, the bonus that you get if you enroll at $2,500 is a gold iPad. I think you could, no, I guess you can't see it somewhere here. I've got a bunch of them, but it's a gold iPad that I preloaded with all of my training courses on there. Now, if you were to buy those training courses retail value, it would be, I think, $9,373 or whatever. And I've taken all of these courses and I've put them and pre-downloaded them onto a gold iPad. And I tell you, hey, if you join the Council today at our annual $2,500 price point, I'm going to give you $10,000 worth of bonuses. But here's the difference. I didn't say somewhere logged into my back office because that's digital. I said, no, I'm going to mail you this gold iPad straight to your office or straight to your door with $10,000 worth of programs on there. Now, that's just an example now of the bonuses are worth more than the actual program I'm offering, and it's digital to physical, right? And there's just something about like, oh, I get a gold iPad. Okay, I want the gold iPad. Now, the gold iPad cost me something like $300 or $400, right? It's not the end of the world. But and I'm charging $2,500 for the thing, but the amount of extended conversions I get because of this offer helps to make it even that much better. So the first thing, again, like we said, is a discount. The second thing is stacked bonuses. The third thing is a risk reversal guarantee, right? So not just a guarantee. A guarantee says, hey, if you don't like it, no problem, return it, we'll give you your money back. That's a guarantee. A risk reversal guarantee, by the very nature of what it says, is where the inherent risk of the purchase doesn't fall on the purchaser, but it falls on the seller. So in my case, a risk reversal guarantee is, or could sound like, hey, if you go through the entirety of our Council program and you're not totally thrilled, and if you don't think it was worth every single penny that you paid for it, not only can you ask for your money back, which I'll give you, but two, I'll also let you keep the gold iPad with all of my courses on there. And thirdly, I'll cut you $100 via PayPal so you can have dinner on me at your favorite restaurant tonight, just to make sure and ensure that your experience with me was a profitable one. That's a pretty damn good guarantee, right? Because not only do they get their money back, they get to keep my bloody iPad, and they get to keep all the courses on the iPad, and I'm giving them $100 cash that they can spend on whatever they want. It's hard for someone to say no to that. And it also keeps me accountable to ensuring that what I'm giving that person is of high quality. So again, how do we make an irresistible offer here? A discount helps. B, stacked bonuses help. Thirdly, a risk reversal guarantee most definitely helps. 4 of 5. 4 is a good reason why, right? Cialdini wrote about this in the book Influence, and it's this idea that any reason why is better than no reason why. And I'd like to say a good reason why is better than a bad reason why. But the point here is everybody on the internet right now has their bullshit meters up on full tilt, right? It's like, oh, wait a sec. Why are you making this kind of an offer? What's the catch? That's the word. It's like, what's the catch? What are you trying to sell? What's trying to happen here? Why would I do this? So you need to tell them the reason why you're doing this, a reason why you're making this offer. And here's what I believe. Honesty is the only policy, right? Rather than saying, oh, well, because it's my birthday and I want to give a birthday special to everybody, like, fine. But my reason is I tell people straight up in that video, I'm like, look, you're on this page because you're desiring to take a certain action. And I know, and statistics tell me that the moment you leave this page, the likelihood of you coming back to this page and making this purchase is slim to none. So I want to incentivize a decisive decision from you. And this is why I'm making this offer this way, because I want you to take action now. And if I can incentivize you to do it, we're both going to win at the end of that. And by the way, this is also how I find my clients. Most people who go through my material, apply it and love it, are people who come back to me down the road and end up saying, Nick, I want to work with you further. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. Is that fair? Does that make sense? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. I think that's totally fine. It's not like you coming up with some bullshit reason to sell this to me. Yeah, I get it. So a good reason why is also obviously a key component in a GFO or a Godfather offer. Now, the last component, something that I think Jack can speak to much greater than I can, is that the final element of a Godfather offer is a deadline, right? You cannot offer a great offer and just say, hey, come back to me whenever you want with this. There has to be a deadline. Now, we've tested all sorts of deadlines, hour-long deadlines, 24-hour deadlines, 7-day deadlines. And where I like to fall on this, and this is just because you're in this like advanced bonus group here, I don't really tell everybody the specificity here. I found that 72 hours or 3 days is a perfect deadline if you're selling something of higher value. Because if you say you got to buy now in this 1 hour that's available to you, it's a little tricky, right? It feels just a touch pressury. And I get it. Sometimes it is what it is, and it has to be that. But sometimes it's just a little too pressury. And even if we get the purchase, the last thing I want is a client coming into my world with buyer's remorse. Like, yeah, I bought it, but I bought it because you pressured me, and now I kind of don't like you. I don't want that. Now, if I say a 7-day deadline, they're just like, oh, I'll get back to that later. And of course, later never comes. They totally forget about you. And so it's a dead deal. But 3 days is just like perfect enough where if they need to do their due diligence, if they need to get off an airplane, if they need to come up with the finances, if they need to talk to their significant other, all these objections that generally come up to say, I can't do it now, go away when you give them 72 hours. It seems to be like the perfect deadline length for someone to be able to take this action. So if you can, when you're thinking about your offer, it's in a perfect world, you have all 5 of those elements integrated into your offer. Now, any one of them is going to increase conversions. But if you can have all 5 together as part of your offer, what you generally see is conversions go through the roof, particularly for fast movers who are like, I want it now. Give me a reason to buy now. You've given them every reason to buy now. So they take the desired action. And for everybody else, no problem, right? You say, well, what happens if the deadline expires on day 4 and people want to buy? No problem. They can get a different offer. They can't just get that exact same offer. And I think that's one final thing I want to say about this, Jack, before, if you have any questions, is we're not talking about fake deadlines, right? We're not talking about, hey, it's a pretend deadline, but if you come back to me on day 4, I'll still honor it. People ask me all the time, well, what happens, Nick, if they come back on day 4 and they say, well, I'm so sorry, I missed the deadline, I want the thing, what do you do? And I ask crowds all the time when I ask, when I'm speaking, what would you do? And they say, just give it to them. Me? Hell no. Because you are teaching your market how you operate. And if I don't honor my word by saying there was a deadline and you didn't meet it, but I'm going to give it to you anyways, I'm just saying, don't trust anything I say ever. Right? So you have to adhere to your deadlines. You say, well, what if they want to buy something? They just missed the deadline. Fine. Spin up a different offer that's not as good as the original one that you can offer them. It doesn't have to be full price, but make sure you adhere to your deadlines and the deadlines are true and all that. Now, the last question I get oftentimes, even with deadline funnels, is like, well, what if they like hack the system somehow and they bypass the IPs and the cookies and they use a VPN and they reset the timer for another 72 hours? My answer is this, friend, if they were good enough to do that, they deserve another 72 hours. So be it. Have at it. Like, no problem. But the point here is make a really great offer, attach a deadline to it, adhere to your deadlines, adhere to your guarantees, adhere to all of that, and you'll see way more conversions happen as a result of that.
You and I see eye to eye on that one. And that's advice that I've given other people too, because that's a common question that does come up. What if someone, delegate my homework type of excuse and they come back later? So yeah, offer them a good deal, but just not as good a deal as the original one. I do have one question. And yeah, by the way, this was just another incredible masterclass. Thank you for sharing this information. So my one question, and I'm not saying this so much for myself because I think I know how you're going to answer it. I might be surprised, but I want to ask the question that I think other people might be asking. They might be thinking, Nick, I love the idea of a reversal, risk reversal guarantee. Yeah. But people are going to take advantage of me. What do you say? Yeah.
So there's a couple of ways to look at it. Number one, not nearly the number of people who you think will take advantage of you will take advantage of you. So that's just number one. It's this weird fear-based mentality that we all tend to have. But then when it really push comes to shove, not the people who you think are going to take advantage of are not going to. Secondly, for the few who do, and there will be shysters who do, and that's okay. That'll be the first and last time they'll ever buy from you. I have a thing in my Infusionsoft account of blocked and banned accounts of people who've done that for me. And that's totally fine and cool. It just means they're never allowed to buy a product from me ever again, period, hands down. And we adhere to that. So if that's your case, so be it. But thirdly, the number of conversions you get for offering a risk reversal guarantee outweighs the number of potential refunds you have to live up to. And so the numbers pan themselves out where the conversion rate is so much higher that even if you do have to refund the few people who want to take advantage of it, so be it. And thirdly, and I got to give credit to where credit's due, Frank Kern taught me this. I was talking to him, and Frank's the master of risk reversal guarantees. And I said, Frank, I asked the same question. This was probably 5-6 years ago when we were in a room masterminding. I said, Frank, aren't you worried about that? He goes, Nick, I don't care. My job is not to be attached to the sale. My job is to provide value to my audience. And as long as I can be concerned with providing the best damn value I can to my audience, refunds or not, I don't care. I'm doing my job. And I trust that karma and the sales will come in. And it was just like, yeah, okay. I don't care then. Like, I'm not attached to the sale. I'm attached to providing value. And I believe if I can provide enough value, I'm going to get enough good people in my world. And yeah, are there going to be bad apples? Sure. Who cares at this point, right? If they steal my stuff and they're good propagators of it and they apply it, who knows? Maybe they love the content so much that they come back to buy something else in the future, or maybe they never do, but it doesn't matter. That's not my job. My job is to provide value to my audience and give them the best on result I can. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add would be, from my point of view, if I got that question, I would say optimize and try to solve for the problem that you have. And the problem that everyone has is trying to make damn Facebook ads work, and so fix that problem and then see if you have the next problem. If you have the next problem, deal with that, but optimize for the, like let's get to that problem, because let's face it, that's what we call VIP problems. Like, hey, I've got so many leads coming in that 1% of 0.5% of refunds is still costing me a lot of money. How do I deal with that? Well, listen, that's a first-class problem. So let's get to those types of problems. Well, Nick, this has been absolutely amazing. Is there any other resource that you want to send people to? I see the red book behind you. Do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so Give is a book that I wrote a couple of years ago, and people were just constantly asking me, like, if you could sum up what you know to be true about marketing on the internet, particularly Facebook, in as little amount of words as possible, what would it be? And Give was the outcome of that. I think it's 120 pages long. It gives you the high level strategies, because the daily tactics in Facebook are changing all the time, but the high level strategies of what's really working and how you can deploy those into your specific business. So yeah, I think Amazon all across the world, you can grab it there. And yeah, would love if you had a copy and can implement some of the stuff in there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has just been incredible. This is just information packed. We're going to take action on the information. So remember what Nick said, you got to take action. Information isn't power. Acting on that information is power. So take this information and go put it to use. Thanks so much, Nick.
All right.